In the opening of the movie's narrative, it is established that there exists a corporation that ensnares individuals and confines them within a dreadful chamber. The room is called Escape Room, and it contains a few riddles that must be solved or the people will perish. This game is popular among wealthy people because they enjoy watching it and betting on it. From the previous escape room, only a girl named Zoe and her friends survived. After it, Zoe promised herself that she would catch those terrible games and ban them. Then a man is shown who is a worker in that company, and he made escape room for the company. He has a wife and a daughter, and his daughter is named Claire. His wife dislikes his job and tells him that it will have a negative impact on our daughter. That's why I want divorce from you, and I'm leaving with my daughter, but her husband says to stay calm, and right now I am busy. We will talk later about it. His wife sits in a room after taking a shower, but 3 iron rods lock that room, and she understands her husband locked her in the escape room. The room temperature starts increasing rapidly. She asks to open the door, but there is no answer. A riddle is shown on the door because of steam, and stone was its answer. She sees the stones there and finds a magnet from them, and she immediately understands she has to remove the iron rods from the door through this magnet. She starts removing rods one by one, but the room temperature is increasing by even 240 degrees. Due to it, her skin was melting, and she died because of the high temperature before she removed the last rod. After years, their daughter, Claire, is shown as a grown elder, but her father has locked her in a room as she is an expert in making escape room. Her father makes her escape rooms. Claire's father was enraged that Zoe survived his game. He asks his daughter to make a difficult escape room, so this time Zoe will not escape. Knowing that Zoe will be arriving in New York by plane, he has constructed an escape room aboard the aircraft for her. Zoe and her friend are shown at the airport, and they were going to New York to reveal that company. Zoe feels there is something wrong, so she refuses to go via plane, and they escape. Now they move to New York in their car and spend a night in a hotel. Zoe's friend was feeling that he was in the escape room. There wasn't anything real, and it was just his nightmare. They moved to a place where a thief ran while snatching Zoe's chain. They reach a station while chasing him, but the thief runs from there while trapping them in a train. Zoe feels something is wrong because only 6 people were sitting on the train. She goes to check the driver's cabin, but there are none. The door was locked. Their box separated from the train and moved somewhere else, and they all panicked when the box stopped in an empty tunnel. Zoe's friend tries to open the train door, but it is locked, and they understand that the company has found and trapped them here. The surprising thing was that the other 4 people present in the train have won this deadly game before, which means now this is the game of those champions. The current was spread in the train through machines, and now they can't touch any iron things. A boy finds a bag under a seat in which there are towels in the door handle. They open the driver's cabin through this handle. They discover a token machine inside and must insert 9 tokens into it. It was written, "The mistakes on the poster must be found." They see a poster and E was missing from it, and they start finding the spelling mistakes. Zoe notices there are a total of 26 handles on the train, and there are 26 alphabets, which means they have to pull the handle of the missing letter. A girl finds a huge rubber piece in a bag, and they divide it among each other so they can pull the iron handles to avoid current. Zoe pulls a handle, and a token comes out of it, and she puts it into the token box after it. They were pulling the handles of missing letters, and tokens were coming out of them. The current was also increasing because of pulling handles. Now a boy finds the last 3 missing letters, but before he can tell anyone this, he mistakenly holds the iron pipe. He loses his life due to an electric current. Zoe sees the word is "Welcome back," and she tells the last 3 missing letters to others. Zoe's friend pulls the handles immediately. He puts the token into the machine, and as this happens, a portal opens through which they escape from there. They come into a lift that is taking them deep inside the ground, and as the lift stops, they tell everyone about each other. One of the boys was a priest, one of the girls was a writer, and another was a nurse. They now emerge from the lift into a massive escape room. They have to move into the front door while passing from here, but the writer girl steps on the land without thinking due to it. There was a laser, but luckily none dies, and they immediately take out that writer girl from there because she has stepped on the wrong tile, and the laser stops as a result. Now they have to cross that path through the door within 10 minutes, otherwise the door will be closed. If they step on the wrong tiles, the laser will end them. The priest retrieves a key from the lollipops, and Zoe moves to the lockers while extracting the key and crossing the counter. The nurse and the writer also find a key, and they move to open the locks. Zoe's friend notices a number on each lock, but there was a lock on which a name was written, and they start opening the lock. As it opens, many sharp diamonds come out of it, and Zoe's finger becomes injured as she touches it. The girls also discover the empty notes from that lock, and after a while, and at the moment light turns on, and they now want its code. Zoe's friend understands that if he pours Zoe's blood on the notes, he may get the code, but the laser turns on as the nurse gets on the counter to give the notes, and the nurse falls down, being scared of it. The laser also turns off as she falls down. The priest gives those notes to Zoe, and they get the code when they pour blood on them. As he inserts the code into at the moment, 3 clocks stop at different times, which is actually a clue for them to move on the right tiles. The hour needle was telling them in which direction they had to move, and the minute needle was telling them how many steps they had to walk. The priest walks 12 steps according to the needles. He was placing lollipops on the tiles behind so everyone would know the right path, but he crossed the half path with the help of needles because the next tile got pressed like a button, and another locker came in front immediately. A riddle appeared on the tile on which he was standing. They start finding the code and panicking to open the locker. They have a short time, so the priest moves forward while trusting God, even though others forbid him, but he ignores them. As a result of stepping on the wrong tile, the laser activates, his head collides with a table, and he faints. The girls remove his foot from the wrong tile, and the laser stops. The writer has understood the riddle. That's why she keeps on moving the locker's handle. It opens, and this time, a map comes out of it, and Zoe places it on a design made on the wall. Now they find the other path. Zoe stops here and tells the further path to others, and after it, they leave while taking the faint priest. Zoe also hurries towards the door. She moves out at the right time before the door closes, and now they have crossed 2 escape rooms. The priest also comes to his senses, and then they move forward in the 3rd escape room. It was made like a seashore. The writer sees a camera, picks it up, and takes a picture. They see a boat in the picture, but there's nothing in front of them. That's why they start finding the boat. Zoe's friend finds a tool in the garbage with which they can find the iron things, and through it, he finds the boat everywhere. Zoe finds 2 statues here, and there were shells placed on the eyes of one statue that were looking strange. The tool noises on the sand, and they dig that place and take out a massive thing tied with ropes, but the rope breaks and the sand engulfs that rope immediately. They understand the sand is turning into a bog, in which the nurse got stuck, and the sand engulfs her later. The priest jumps into the sand while tying a rope around his waist. He saves the nurse, but the rope again breaks due to it. He dies because of being stuck in the sand. The sand was turning into a boggy area, so they move into a cabin, but as they move inside, they discover the exit ways inside the fridge. They need to find a code to open the fridge, There was a button, and when Zoe pressed it, the light in the outside building turned on. She understands they will find the next clue upside the building, so she moves upside through stairs, and Zoe sees a message through binoculars that was, "I can't see you." But C spellings were wrong, and it was C. She tells everyone this clue while shouting, but moving downstairs, she sees a round door. Zoe's friend got that clue. That's why he rushes to the statue, which has shells on its eyes, and he hardly takes out shells from its eyes. It was actually the fridge code, and he opened the fridge due to it. They can leave from here. Zoe removes the round door, and there is a secret path, and she understands that if they move inside, they will be out of the game. She calls others, and except for the writer, her friend and the nurse moved to her while trusting her. Now they were moving upstairs through stairs. The nurse moved upstairs, but the stairs moved inside before Zoe's friend moved upstairs. He was buried in the sand while falling down, and Zoe feels bad to see this. Now they have come to a place through a secret path. They find a ladder to move out of here. They come out through the ladder and understand, seeing cars around, that they are on a road. It means they have come out of the game in real life, but there was nothing like this. And the writer rushes to them and tells them this is the 4th escape room, and there will be acid rain after every minute. We have to move into the store to escape from it, but it is locked. The writer moves upside and finds a key there. She opens the lock and moves up the shutter, but finds another door in front of the store. As the time ends, the acid rain starts, but a cover comes on them and they save. The rain stops, and the timer of 1 minute starts again. The phone rings in a box, but it was also locked, and Zoe says if we collect the acid, we can open the door while melting the lock. The nurse finds a thing that will not burn with acid, and she finds a bottle. The rain starts again as the time ends, and they stand under the cover while placing the bottle there. As the rain ends, they melt the lock with the collected acid, and the door opens. Zoe picks up the phone, but there isn't any answer, and she discovers a car through a poster. She understands the car standing there is their next clue, and she starts searching for the car. She notices the car door is locked, and then the rain starts as the time ends. The girls have an umbrella, and they give it to Zoe. Zoe escapes from being burned in the acid. Zoe sees 3 rings in a poster and asks the nurse to let the phone ring 3 times, then picks up the phone. The nurse does the same. Due to it, the car door opens, and Zoe immediately sits in the car. After the rain, the girls also tried to move inside the car, but the door was locked, and the door of the telephone box also closed automatically. The cover was also moved inside, and they had no other way, so they died because they were burned in the acid rain. Zoe starts shouting seeing this deadly scene because she couldn't do anything to save them. Meanwhile, the seat opens and Zoe goes somewhere, and Claire's father, who made escape room, feels something is wrong because Zoe didn't come to the last escape room, where she had to go but went somewhere else. He understands it must be done by his daughter, Claire, to save Zoe. On the other side, Claire's friend brings Zoe, and Zoe understands seeing Claire that she used to make escape room. Claire tells Zoe, "I am doing this on my father's orders. My father has locked me in this room since my mother died. I called you here to help me and take me out of this room." Zoe says, "I don't trust you, so why should I help you?" She claims, "I made a mistake in the seashore escape room when your friend was engulfed in sand and survived. He is safe in a room, but they see the companion of Claire's father put him in the final escape room. It was a temperature room. Zoe's friend starts solving this room's riddle, but if he does not solve it soon, he will be ended like Claire's mother. Claire tells Zoe, "I can save your friend through my father's computer, but for this, I have to go out of this room." Zoe starts solving the riddle from the wall, but it was changing within seconds, so it was impossible to solve it. Claire tells my father that I will never be able to solve this riddle myself, and Zoe stands at a place where Claire can't see, and she finds a code through which they open the door, and Claire comes out. Meanwhile, Claire's father arrives with a gun. He starts pressing his daughter's neck, but she pushes her father and locks him in the room in which she was. Claire rushes to her father's room and turns the last escape room off from his computer, where Zoe's friend got stuck. Likewise, he was saved. Zoe asks Claire, "Where is my friend?" And she tells him he is in the building you went to at first, and all your escape rooms are played in that building. I have locked all the humans there who have made this game, so you will hand them over to the police with proof, and I will hand over my father to the police. Later, Zoe reaches the building in the car, and the police along with the ambulance were present there. The dead bodies of the players of the game were also taken out, and the police have also arrested the persons who controlled the game. Zoe also finds her friend after it. Claire comes to her father here. The real face of Claire reveals how dangerous she is. She has actually been insane since her childhood. Her habits, such as hurting others and behaving badly with everyone, had developed since her childhood. Her mother was about to send her to a mental hospital to make her fine. That's why she ended her mother in the temperature escape room. Yes, Claire has ended her, and after that, she ends her father here so she can be admired when she creates more lethal escape rooms. She tried to be innocent from the beginning, but she was insane enough to murder her parents. Here, this movie ends.